When did you realize your friends were actually fake friends? In the first part, we get to know how to deal with friends that only stick around while they need you. Story 1. Back in my first year of college, I used to have a group of friends, like 7 dudes, with me included. We always hang out together and we used to have this group chat, where we discuss about anything, from class subjects to random things. After a year, I noticed that one of the guys, let's just call him Randy, keeps getting excluded, not invited, informed to group hangout, while they're talking smack behind his back. And the unofficial leader of the group actually made a whole new group chat inviting everyone, myself included, except Randy without his knowledge. I know what it feels to be left out. I experienced that in middle school and it's really awful. I stopped hanging out with them and I started hanging out with Randy. He's quite eccentric, but a very good person at heart. We've been friends for more than 6 years and he still got my back. Comment. Good for you to be his friend. Most people would have been too cowardly to go against the group. I'm proud of you. So many people see others being excluded, bullied, and do nothing, mostly out of fear of being excluded themselves. Story 2. Whenever we were supposed to hang out, something came up, and that something was hanging out with other mutual friends. Comment. Yes, my best friend in high school used to do this to me all the time. On Wednesday, I'd asked if she wanted to see a movie Friday night. She'd always say maybe, if I can get out of doing whatever with my parents. Come Monday, I'd hear her talking about how great the movie was. Apparently, at the last minute, her parents said she didn't have to go, and miraculously, a group of people called right then and asked her to see the same movie. She'd always say, "I'd figured you made other plans," when I confronted her about it. In reality, she just waited to see what the better option was and pick on Friday. God, that pissed me off. Story 3. When I was babysitting her kids, things were going great. We would hang out all the time, have movie nights and just talk and chill. But the second she no longer needed a babysitter was the second I got kicked to the curb. No explanation, not even a text back. Some people will act like your best friend until they no longer need you. They're lost though. Comment. Yep, this happened to me, but more generally. Had a friend who'd only contact me when she needed something, but she was pretty sly about it in the beginning, inviting me over to hang and then bring out her favor organically. Like, oh, we don't have anyone to watch the dog next weekend. Or I want to move this bed but it's so heavy, etc. After a while it got more egregious and obvious, only calling to ask to use my truck or dog seat. I'd politely say I wasn't available and eventually she stopped calling. She still texts every now and then to catch up. She tried that a few times in the past and it was always followed by a request, despite my no longer responding. To this day, I cringe when someone says, "Hi friend," her freaking catchphrase. Story 4. When I returned to work after being off for 3 months due to an injury, I practically begged them to grab a beer and do pub trivia, but all 3 of them passed because they had plans. Well, it turns out their plans were to go grab a beer and do pub trivia without me. Found out through social media. Deleted it shortly afterwards. I've been a lot less depressed about things since I've deleted social media and stopped looking at them as friends and just as work buddies. It took that for me to realize that the friendships were actually one-sided and I'm better off not pursuing anything other than being cordial at work. Story 5. I was invited to the bachelorette party for one of the friends in this group. While at the party, I figured out that I was the only person not invited to the wedding. I had been invited to the party because they needed another person to chip in for the expenses. Comment. Same here. Apparently, I didn't realize I was on a different tier of friendship with my so-called friend. My friend was getting married and I didn't get an invite, which was fine since her wedding was a destination wedding in a different country. I attended the sleepover party which she hosted. There were about 9 girls there in total. They kept talking about the kick-ass bachelorette party and then started showing photos of the crazy party. I realized I was the only one not invited. Made me feel kinda crummy. Story 6. I wouldn't say I have fake friends, but I am definitely the peripheral friend. The majority of the time, if there isn't enough tickets or space in the car for everyone to go do something, I'm the one who gets cut out. It doesn't bother me much, but I wish they would be more mindful when talking to me about things we have done. Remember when we went to see X? Wasn't that fun? Well, no, because I wasn't invited. In those situations, it usually gets awkward, or they say, hey, we would have invited you if we had the tickets, space, etc. Before the last story, you can check the description. Comment about the stories that you had similar to this, and maybe like and subscribe. I have more videos like this on my channel. Story 7. This friend, I'll call her Mary, had kids the same age as mine. We got together for playdates pretty often, and our kids would sleep over at each other's houses for weekends. I liked Mary. We would often visit and talk while our kids were playing. One weekend, her kids had stayed at my house. The older one called her mom to see when she was coming to pick her up. I was in the room and the kid put the phone on speaker for some reason. Mary told the kid what time she would be there and added, "You had better be waiting outside. If I have to go in and spend the next hour talking to River Tam, I'm going to be really pissed." We didn't spend much time together after that. Edit. I'm getting a lot of similar questions in comments, so I'll add an edit here instead of writing the same answer a dozen of times. Did I overreact? Was Mary just having a bad day and not wanting to talk? And my personal favorite, River Tam, maybe you are just insufferable. Here's what happened after I overheard my friend say that to her child. I simply stopped initiating contact and wasn't as available to do stuff for her. When I dropped off or picked up the kids, I smiled and waved. I let the kids make the plans for playdates. I no longer had time to help her with her garden or watch her kids while she went out with another friend. They were into long-distance running, which is not my cup of tea. She never contacted me unless she wanted something. This had always been true, but I had not realized it. The friendship eventually fizzled out on its own. So I guess it had never been much of a friendship to begin with. I just didn't realize it until she opened my eyes. Remember to watch the second part of this on my channel. I think you will like the video that's showing on the screen. You could also check my channel and subscribe for more. Have a pleasant rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next one.